Hey makeup lovers, it's James here, and this is something really new for me. This is my first ever makeup review show, and I wanted to do it because I've got so many different products that I absolutely love from on my travels or things that I've bought or been sent, and I wanted to share with you some of my favorites, things that have made it into my kit, why I love them and how I'm using them. So if anybody knows my makeup style, I'm not afraid of a nice bold pop of colour. So for my first ever product review, we're going to go to a little indie brand. Now this is something that I picked up when I was in Manchester city centre a couple of weeks ago. I was shopping in Affleck's Palace, which is kind of full of all of these different independent stores, and there was a makeup brand there. And I'd been looking for a replacement for my Stargazer pigments, which I'd been using for a while and I couldn't seem to find them anywhere. So I was just kind of shopping around and I came across this little brand. So let's start with my first review. These are 5 pigments that I picked up from a brand called muobo, or Makeup or Breakup. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I got 5 of them. There was a ton of different matte, neons and shimmery textures. Good thing about these, the price point was amazing. They're like £4 each. There is a website right now that's selling them as well. I think it's festivalglitter.com, and they're £3.20. You get a discount on them. So I was really taken back by the intensity of the pigment. So I've swatched them just to give you an idea of how bold they are. They're all vegan. So it says here they're vegan pigment powder, not tested on animals, and in each one of these little pots you get 3 grams. So you get quite a lot of pigment in there as well. So these are the shades that I went for. I got this really interesting, like orangey yellow. And I find that when it comes to pigments, yellow is always a really tricky one to get right. So let's see how I'll get on with this one. I've already tried this one. This is pigment shade number 2. This is the hot pink. I think any neon, I always start with a nice hot pink because it's a good basic color to have. I got this really interesting velvety red. That's pigment shade 16. And then this one I'm loving. This is shade number 5. So it's the most amazing indigo violet, neon violet shade. And then I finished off with a good classic orange. This is shade number 3, a neon orange. I didn't get the green actually. Maybe I should go back in and check those out. So I'm going to show you what I like about these. So I've just dotted them out on my little mykitco play palette just to give you an idea of the pigments. And I love the play palette because it has all of these little wells in it, which helps you keep all of your mixing separate. So I'm just going to have a little look. Let's go in with the red first of all. So I like a red pigment. You know, I could put this over the top of eyeshadow, but what I really like these red pigments for is pressing over lips to create that like velvet rose petal effect. So that's the red, and that's just literally over dry skin. Like that's just onto my bare skin, which is a bit dry at the moment. So you can get an idea of how much pigment power is in there. Super impressive. Let's try the violet. So this is the one that I was really excited about. This is shade number 5. Again, I'm just going to press that over skin. So what I'm noticing with the pigments, they're super finely milled, like they're really smooth to the touch. You can see how bold they are and the incredible payoff you get. So that's that indigo neon purple shade. Okay, I'm going to run out of fingers really quickly here. Let's try the orange. And the guy actually, I can't remember his name, maybe it was Ian. It was his brand, super nice guy. He was telling me all about the process. Okay, there's the orange. Still really impressive. Just going to take a little baby wipe. And it's just nice to support indie brands. So I think I'll definitely be back when the stores are open again. I'll go back into town and I will check out a couple of the other shades. But I know they also sell online as well, so I'll have a look at their website. Okay, so now here comes the real challenge for me. When it comes to pigment, yellow is notoriously difficult to get right. So let's see how we get on with this yellow. Let's see. So there's still a little bit of moisture from the wipe on my hand. But it's looking kind of good. You know, I think if I put concealer down or maybe, an eye kohl, that would have been pretty good. And then let's finish with, I know the pink's great actually already. So this is how I'm using the powders dry. You could press them over like a base on the lid. But what I really like to do when I'm using anything like this is use my mixing liquid. So something I've been using for a little while now, I use the Meron mixing liquid, which is just here. So this is 133 ml. It's a classic, it's an alcohol-based mixing liquid. And what I like about this is it's going to help you to take these powder pigments and make them into the most amazing long-wearing, long-lasting paints for anywhere on the face or body. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take a little bit more shade number 5, which is the purple shade. If I can get it open with my wet hands. Sec. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use the wells and the little mixing palette just to help me to keep it under control. So key thing, I did a look with this the other day, a macro eye with the same purple and the mixing liquid. The key thing is not to mix. Well, you kind of have to get the balance. You need to mix not too much and not too little. So I'm just going to drop a couple of drops into there. Obviously, too much of the liquid, you're going to get a really watery result. It's not going to be bold enough. Too little, and it's going to dry it really quickly. So let's see how we get on. So that's the shade number 5. Instantly, what I love about it is I'm getting a paint texture, still with that incredible opacity, still really dense looking. Now, the beautiful thing about this pigment is when it dries down with the liquid, it goes back to its velvet matte formula. So as the mixing liquid evaporates, which will be in like a minute or two, you're going to get a really long wearing, super bold paint pigment, which you can do really graphic shapes with, graphic eyes. You can do the lips in it. So loving those. That's the Makeup or Breakup neon pigments, £4 each. You know, I've got a good sample amount of them, but I think I'm going to go back and get more because I feel like I'm going to have lots of fun with those. So I'm going to let that just sit on my hand for a second just to show you how it changes back into its powder formula. And in the meantime, let's just tidy up all of these little things that I've dropped down, and I'm going to move on to my next product. So something for the skin. I've been aware of this brand for quite a while now. It's iconiclondon. I think they were one of the original brands to come out with those beautiful super high shine illuminating drops for the face. And I only discovered recently that they do the most amazing blush, cream blush. And I've got to say my kit's probably made up of about 50-60% liquid cream, like multiple use products that I can use on the face, the eyes, the lips and the cheeks. So I love anything that's really durable, like really versatile, sorry. So I came across these recently. So if you're a fan of packaging, then I think the packaging kind of sells them already. So this is the iconiclondon Sheer Blush. I have 3 of the shades here, 3 of my top picks from the range. There's 6 in total, and they are £18 each, so not bad actually. If you check out the Iconic website, they do some amazing duo packages. So if you know their Iconic drops, the highlighting drops, you can get a Sheer Blush and an Iconic drops for, like, I don't know, you'll have to check out the website, around £30 I think. So let's do a little swatch of these. I've already kind of picked out my favorite 3 from the range, put them on my little palette. My number 1 has to be this one though. It's fresh faced. It's like that most perfect pinky beige. It's like a neutral tone that's, you know, on the face it's going to just give a little bit of like almost like a pinched cheek, not too red, not too pink, not too cute, which is kind of why I really liked it. So just going back to that pigment just for a second, you can see how now it's evaporating, it's going into that, it's going back to its original form, and it actually is really long wearing now. So let me just whip that off my hand, and let's carry on with this sheer blush. Okay, so I'm going to swatch them for you because the texture was really interesting. In the past, when I've used cream or liquid blush, it's always been quite intense. What I liked about the iconiclondon is that they're really sheer, and they do that thing to the skin where it makes it really kind of bouncy, looks really plumped, and it kind of highlights and illuminates as well as giving you that blush tone, but there's no frost in there, which is really important. So if you're a fan of skin and you want all of those like beautiful sheer veils that really make the skin look luminous and bright, then I think this product could be for you. Okay, so let's swatch the first one. This one is fresh faced. So this is my top pick from the Iconic range. I'm going to pop a little bit on my hand just to give you an idea of the texture. It catches the light. So it does have that stain effect. I tend to prefer to apply this with a brush. You could use it with a beauty blender as well. So you can see that tone's gorgeous. There's also 3 other tones that are a little bit deeper, especially on which work especially well on deeper skin tones. So I applied this recently on a beauty shoot with the mykitco 018 brush, which is a small duo fiber brush, which just really helped to kind of wash it over the apples of the cheek. But again, you know, if you're wearing it yourself, you could always use your fingertips, or you could use a beauty blender, I think could work as well. So let's show you the other two shades as well. So that one was Fresh Face. The other two here, I've got one that's slightly more pink and one that's slightly more peach. So the slightly more pink one is called Rose Riot. Again, it's a very muted rose tone, not too pigmented. And then this one's really cute. This one's called Cheeky Coral. So it's quite a beigey coral. It's not too orange. So you're never going to get that really intense color, but it's also always going to look really muted and pretty. Okay, so let's swatch those two. So let's try the Rose Riot first of all. Put some here. So I would describe this as like a baby pink almost. You know, it doesn't have that strong pigment to it, but again, it's going to look really pretty with that texture. And then next to it, let's pop a little bit of the Cheeky Coral. Just a little tint of like a warm orange undertone to that. But I'm loving them. Again, you know, because I'm such a fan of creating that sheer skin look, you know, where I build up in very light layers, these iconic blushes as a finishing touch, amazing. So those are my top picks. There's a really beautiful berry tone as well, which might take me into like the autumn winter kind of beauty vibe, but maybe I'll look at that one next time. Let's move on to something for the lips. So these lipsticks are from such an iconic makeup artist, somebody who I've admired for years, and she has such a great eye for texture and color, the iconic Lisaeldridge. So I was lucky enough to have these sent recently, well, first of all, I fell in love with the packaging. You know, I think as far as lipsticks go, they look so chic, you know, beautiful, such a gorgeous gift. And then when you turn up the lipstick, this is from Lisa's Velvet Textures. You get this beautiful texture on the lip, which actually makes it look like it's a flop texture, but actually it's just the little imprint that's on the brush. I'm sorry, on the lipstick bullet. So absolutely stunning. I think they're amazing. So in my hands, I've got two of my favorites from the collection. First of all, there's Velvet Affair. So I've swatched this one a little bit earlier. So what I liked about Velvet Affair, which is this one just here, and I used it on a beauty story the other day, I really liked the fact that it was a deeper shade of nude. It's not too pink. It has this really rich, warm undertone. And instantly, even when I'm kind of applying that onto my hand, I'm getting this soft, comfortable matte. And when I was applying it on the lips, I actually used a soft brush to apply it to give that blurred look effect on the lip. But so that one's Velvet Affair. It's got a very kind of warm, almost like gingery undertone to it, which is going to look beautiful on a deeper skin tone as well as a lighter skin tone as well. And I'm finding these best. You know, if you take like a soft, fluffy brush and really buff them over the lip to give you that blurred outline. But that's definitely my number one from the collection, that's Velvet Affair. If you like something with a little bit more pigment in it, however, like a little bit more bold, this one's called Velvet Dragon. And the snap of these is just amazing. They're magnetized, so when you close them, they just give you that really satisfying little click. So this is Velvet Dragon. It's a really warm, kind of like a chilly orange red. Great for the season as well. So let's have a little look how that swatches. I'm going to put it next to the other one just so you can see. So much pigment in these, and you can tell like the quality of the texture is just amazing. I love that one as well. It's a really unusual kind of red orange. You don't really get many bricky red oranges. They're always really blue, but this one, again, I think it will make it quite universal because it is so rich and warm. It's going to look great on most skin tones. So that one's Velvet Dragon. So loving what Lisa is doing with the lipsticks right now. Perfect for beauty. You know, I'm such a beauty makeup artist, so those are ideal. So check those two out. That's Velvet Affair if you like the lighter, like the deep nude one, and Velvet Dragon if you want something a little bit more spicy. So those are going straight in the kit. Okay, moving on to something for the eyes now. So this is really, obviously I've worked with Rimmel for quite a few years now, and I've been lucky enough to be part of some of their product development. So this eyeliner really kind of changed the game for me in terms of a pen liner that did exactly what you wanted it to do. So I've tried quite a few different liners. You know, when I'm on my travels in Asia, I always used to, especially in Japan, I used to kind of come back with, 5, 6, 7 different styles of pen liner, but I've got to say the Rimmel one really is my favorite right now. So it's the Wonder Ink, Rimmel Wonder Ink pen. Okay, things I like about it, first of all, it's super reasonable, $6.99. If you're a fan of liner, then this is going to be perfect for you. What I also like about it is the pen has a really great flow through tip. So it's jet black, really, really jet black. Like it's not a grey black at all. And you can see there, it almost has, like it dries to like a semi matte finish. And in the past, when I've used gel, like pen liners like this, especially if you're putting them over an eyeshadow, I found that maybe halfway through they've dried up, they've just stopped working. And I don't know if that's because they absorb some of the powder from the shadow or they just kind of go to sleep on you. You have to put the lid back on and shake them and kind of get them back to life again. But with the Wonder Ink, it doesn't do that, it keeps flowing. So you can get that really gorgeous glossy black flick all in one go without having to kind of shake it or bring it back to life. I shot with this a few times now. There's a few different demos of them on my Instagram, on my videos of me just using this pen because I love it so much. Obviously, it's better for use on yourself because if you're using them on models, I mean, I've generally been gifting them to the model afterwards because obviously once it touches the skin, it's kind of, you have to give it away. But for yourself, for personal use, it's an amazing recommendation. I love this black liner. £6.99, and you can get Rimmel everywhere as well. And it's waterproof. Just found that out actually, just reading all about. So added plus point, it's a waterproof liner as well. Okay, so that's the Rimmel Wonder Ink. And see how it just settles to a really amazing, super jet black, and it's not going anywhere. Smudge resistant. Okay, so to finish off, I'm going to finish with a bag. So obviously, mykitco is my brand, and we're always looking for different ways to, for us and you guys to pack your makeup kit. And for the longest time, we've been launching so many big bags. And I was like, I need something smaller to fit all of my smaller pieces of makeup. So just the other week, we've launched one of this, which is one of our newest additions to the makeup bag collection. This is my PVC Slim. So it's a little slim PVC bag, kind of has a bit of a triangle shape, so you can fit quite a lot of products in there. Basically, I wanted a bag that fit all of my bits and pieces. You know what it's like when you're packing your kit, you get to the end of it, and there's always like 5 or 6 products just kind of scattered around that just don't have a home. That's what the PVC Slim is for. So it has 2 magnetic snaps on the front, so when you close it, it snaps closed, keeping it nice and secure. There's also a little label space in the back. I don't know if you can see it there. So you can label up, depending on how organized you are, you can label up the back of your PVC Slim. They're £7 right now, or we do a pack of 4 with a bag for 34. And at the moment, I'm keeping all of my liquid eyeshadows in here. So I had hands full of these liquid eyeshadows that just didn't have a home, and now they do. I'm going to pop them in my PVC Slim, straight in there. Another way I'm going to use these, I'm going to arrange my lipsticks by tone. For when I'm traveling, I'm going to have a red, a nude, a pinks and a darks in 4 of those. So that's just a nice little addition. If you're feeling like using your time at home to reorganize your makeup kit, check out my kit code for my PVC Slim, and they're £7. And I think that brings me to the end of my first little review, guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I think I'll be back for more because I've got so many products that I adore, that I'd love to share with you, just to give you my personal take on it. But until then, guys, thanks so much for watching, and leave any comments below. If you want me to talk about any products in particular, let me know, but if not, I'll see you very soon.